Welcome to Slightly Off Script, the marriage show where we remind you that marriage can be stupid good and wicked fun. I'm one of your hosts, Bethany Needham, here with the Peanut Gallery, Andy Needham.
This is the time when I'm thankful that I'm the editor of the podcast.
Ever since we stopped video, you've gotten out of control during the intros.
If it ever comes back, look out, world.
We made so many jokes about having you do dances, and now we don't even need to make it. You just, of your own free will.
Some things are just for your marriage, okay?
I don't think those dance moves should be for anything.
Only you have to suffer through this.
Yes. Me and the teddy bear on the couch with us right now. Yikes. Another episode. Here we go.
It has been Antarctica here in New England for the last bit.
Goodness. Y'all, I don't know where people listen from, but I'm telling you, you don't know cold till the kind of cold where you go outside and your boogers freezing your nose instantly. It's a crazy kind of cold.
I feel like we often have had, you always have spells of that in New England.
Yeah.
But this has been a stretch. This has been like, it just keeps going.
Yeah. I was reading somewhere, it was a really funny meme that was also true. It's like this Arctic blast or whatever, storm. And basically all of the South is shut down for days. And up in New England, they're like, it's time to pull out your big puffy coat. Like, it's time to put a coat on. And that's actually true for me because I'm not a big coat wearer. This is the most I have worn a winter coat in a very long time.
Notice it. Yes, this would be true for me because when I go to the gym in the morning, I usually warm up the car. And most of the time, I'm just going hoodie and shorts, even in like winter time.
Yeah.
But not recently. I have more clothes than a kindergartner going to school.
I think I saw a middle schooler with a coat on the other day. I was like, it's getting real.
If people come to this podcast for one thing, you know what it is.
What?
Talk about the weather.
You're welcome. Now that we got that update out of the way. What other boring things? Actually, that's really appropriate for today. But before we get into today's topic, I thought we should take a few minutes to tell them a little bit about a new endeavor of yours.
What people want to do when it's stupid cold is get to somewhere very warm.
Yes. I definitely have been dreaming of warmer weather.
Yes. I always say that you should pay attention to the things that people ask you about a lot and things that you enjoy that other people don't enjoy necessarily. And one of those things has always been the research and planning of travel. I sometimes think that I enjoy the research of it almost as much as the actual going on the vacation.
Yeah. People don't believe me when I tell them that when we go on vacation in our marriage, like, you are the planner, but you really love to do that. And I really love to just show up to whatever you have planned.
Well, it turns out there's a lot of people like you
Yes.
in this world.
My people.
Yeah. And so this actually started conversations with our daughter, Mercy, who has similar interests to me about travel. She especially loves Disney. That was like her big request 2 years ago at Christmas time, was to go back to Disney. And we're going to make it happen in 2026, which is awesome. But it sparked us to talk about, hey, what would it look like if we were to help other people plan their travel? And so we took the jump this beginning of this year. And this is just going to be like a side project, but we'd love to help some families figure out, whether it's couples or families, to do some travel. And so I went through the process and partnered with a great organization called Travelmation. And I am now a certified travel advisor.
Is it an advisor or an agent?
I can be your agent or your advisor.
Secret agent?
Secret agent.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sounds very official. I think another part of this that sparked for us is doing this marriage podcast and talking to other couples about the importance of getting away together, and realizing for us, some of how we've been able to do that is your love of planning trips. And we started having more conversations with couples that are like, hey, so we're thinking we want to do this, but now we need you to help us because neither of us do the planning side of things. And so being able to be helpful, because we very much believe in it, that it's good for couples to get away together, and now to actually have a way for you to be helpful to people who need that in their planning.
Yeah, and it's important to learn what kind of a trip you want to go on. I call it like the range from rest to quest.
Yes.
And there are trips that are more of a quest, like let's have a lot of adventure and let's go discover and let's do all the excursions. I call it Disney as more of a quest because you're going to be busy. You're going to be doing the parks. You're going to be exhausted at the end of the day.
Nothing restful about
Nothing
Disney.
restful. But then there's rest trips where it's let's go to somewhere warm where there's just a beach and a book. And you need to learn that. And then also, no matter what your budget is, there are things that you can do to maximize it. So whether you have a few dollars or a lot of dollars, like what time of year you travel, what day you fly out on, all those things make a massive difference. And so the kind of 3 areas that we're going to focus on, Mercy and I, we're going to focus on Disney, cruises, and resorts. So if you want to get away to an all-inclusive resort, or you want to learn about cruising, or you want to go to Disney, we can help you.
Yeah. And I will just say, as someone, I do not plan trips, but I've talked to a lot of friends who have considered different vacations. And I know I grew up with this idea that resorts and cruises, all that was like, that is for the 2%. Like it's so expensive. And there are definitely very expensive ways to do it. But I find right now in the economy, the way things are, that there's actually a lot of benefits in that type of travel in terms of keeping costs down and also knowing what your cost is when you're paying something up front and it's including a lot of things. It just helps you to be able to plan and save and be good stewards as you travel and have fun. Yeah,
there's always an investment, but there's certain choices that you can make that can make things a lot more accessible in terms of lower costs. And there's also things that if you have a little more to spend, that can make it a little more fun or just level it up. And then helping people decide on, because we've done different things where we've tried leveling up and it was like, that wasn't really a level up. And other things where we're like, hey, if we can swing it, let's do that again. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So anyway, we are travel agent advisors, I guess.
Travel Nation secret agents.
Not nation.
Oh.
Mation, like animation.
Oh, Mation. Travel Nation secret agents.
Yes.
I'm making this up, but.
So people can reach out to us on social media or send me an email. It's actually Andy Needham at travelmation.net. That's with an M, travel, or just send us a message on socials and we can help you plan your next trip.
Yeah. And by us, he means him and Mercy. I should not be planning anyone's trip, but for those who are interested, I'm really fun to travel with. So if you're like, Andy, I need you to plan the trip, but we're going to take Bethany along.
Hey, you're a good Sherpa. You don't want to, I don't want you like scheduling the flights, but once you're on the ground, like you're pretty good.
Yes, I'm a good time once you're there. So I would like to offer my services of going on your vacations.
That's amazing.
So today, as we're hanging out on a Sunday afternoon in our sweatpants, actually really enjoying that life is settling a little bit this week. We've been longing for that. One of the things is we talked about what are we going to sit down and discuss this week is this idea of just staying connected in the mundane of life. In marriage and in life, there are a lot of highs, there's lows, there's times when it's crazy, but really percentage-wise, so much of life is just made up of mundane moments. It's not the craziness, though recently it feels like it's been a little too crazy and now we're longing for...
Maybe we want to talk about it because we've been wanting it.
Yes.
But no, you're 100% correct that most of life, most of marriage is very ordinary, very normal, just routine.
Yeah.
And the danger in that is that you can easily become household managers or family managers, and slowly that's where drift can happen. And so, I think this is a good conversation and a good reminder for us of things that I feel like this is one of those things that we need to be reminded of.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And in terms of just staying connected in the mundane, we are people who've been open about we like to get away together. We love date nights and things like this. And we're actually pulling back even further. A lot of what we want to talk about today are connecting very like simple moments during your day. These aren't necessarily planned ahead date night kind of things. I'm a firm believer. I think you should continue to date as you're married, but I also know there can be seasons and times where maybe there's a long stretch between date nights. But also, I don't think your only connection point should just be a once a week date night. I think it should be an ongoing thing. I will say a lot of these, we're going to talk about ways that we connect. Hopefully it stirs conversation for people to think about those moments in their own life. What does this look like in your marriage, in your home? And one of the special ones that I've really enjoyed is those moments where we have taken our morning coffee and both sat on the couch and reconnected, had really good, deep, meaningful conversations, just different days during the week. Have you enjoyed those moments? Not so much.
It's like dental surgery.
He's like, hard pass on those.
Yeah, I think that part of those moments, I'm so prone to distraction. I'm thinking about, oh, did that such and such expense clear the bank account? And what's the thing going on later? What's my schedule and my calendar? And some of the beauty of this is when you, like, I don't know, if you have two hands on a cup of coffee, you're not holding your phone.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. Put that on a coffee mug. I also think both of us are pretty routine people. We have sort of our rhythms and routines in the mornings, and those can be really good and healthy things. But sometimes it's been, like yesterday, good for us to break routine to connect, because our routines are like, we have our own separate spots in the house that we have our quiet time with, Bible, journal, prayer, all of that. We go to 2 different gyms. We do tend to go our separate ways in the morning. So I think that's probably why this is one of my favorites, because just on a day we're like, you know what, we're not going to rush to the next thing. We're going to take these few moments and sit down and connect.
We'll probably talk about this more with some other of these too, but I think paying attention to practices that slow you down. So like sipping a cup of coffee is an example of that.
Yeah.
Where it's like you are forced to slow.
Yeah. Another one that I need to pay more attention to, but has also been special, is we've mentioned that you tend to be the chef in the house. And there are a number of evenings where I will come home from work and you're busy in the kitchen prepping dinner. And if I'm unintentional, or sometimes I just have things I got to settle in, but some of the other really good connection points has been me setting my work stuff aside and just sitting at the counter in the kitchen. And I'll usually crack open a can of seltzer and sip away, and we just chat and catch up while you're cooking dinner. Or sometimes I'll help you cook dinner if it's something easy that I'm not going to mess up.
You always undersell yourself. You're become a very good chef and good cook. I think we still try to have that rhythm of having dinner together as consistently as we possibly can. And there are exceptions to that. There are times where like, it's leftovers night. Like, it's just, if it's you who are watching Law and Order on the couch. Bethany likes to watch TV like a boomer.
Listen, Law and Order is a classic.
But with our kids too, we would have that, like, dinner was consistent and it was a phone free time. And we would often ask each other questions and get into it. So yeah, I think things, but what you're talking about is kind of expanding it. What is that space around the meal, which is that's a good observation.
Another one that probably reflects our age too. This is not a good time of year for this because it's way too cold out, but we have had times we've been in good rhythms of, after we're done eating, to go walk together, just walk down our street, walk in our neighborhood. And I say our age because I'm pretty sure there's like a lot of research that talks about it's good for your digestion as you get older to walk after you eat. So we walk, talk, catch up. It's really nice. Not right now. It's not really nice, but when the weather is nicer, it's a good connection point too. So it doesn't cost anything to walk. That's nice. All right. So those are some simple ones. I would say another one that came up for me that this may not apply, but it's something we've done a number of times now, which you typically work from home when you're not traveling. I do have an office that I go to, and there's been a few times where you've had a meeting in Concord, which is basically nearer to my office than our home. And you've messaged, hey, I'm coming out of the meeting. It's around lunchtime. And you've picked up lunch and come to my office. And we've had a chance just to connect in the middle of the day. It's not like a long whatever, but it's been a really sweet moment, again, in the mundane of a work day, just to have those few moments to chat, catch up, eat some Chipotle.
Yeah, I think obviously the complexities for every couple will be different, but maybe 1 to 3 times a month, I try to show up in your workspace somehow. And for me, like, my rhythms Mondays and Fridays tend to be less travel with some exceptions. And I tend to do more travel Tuesday through Thursday because a lot of pastors take Fridays off. So for me, that tends to be a quieter day. And so if I have a meeting in Concord, or sometimes I'll even work at a coffee shop in the morning and then swing by your office. And it's not long. And part of that too, is I think this is where you have to be open to the mundane. There are times where I'll show up and you have a crisis in front of you, and just being willing to be in that space and be like, okay, this just matters because you matter, and it's not about what I get out of it.
Yeah, no, that's a good word. So I was thinking about, for couples, that I think there are seasons where sometimes these connection points can be hard because maybe you're actually just struggling to have casual conversations with your spouse. It could be tension in the relationship. It could just be a season of life where you're just brain dead by the time you just feel like you sit down and you're like, I don't even know what to talk about. And very recently, I don't know, probably because we've been doing this marriage podcast and somehow it hit my algorithm, I started getting these posts on my social that were questions to ask your spouse. And some of them were hilarious. So I started saving them in like a folder. And there have been a few nights now where we're both exhausted and our old people way, we got our heating pad going in the bed. We're snuggled up under the blanket. And instead of going to my normal, which is, hun, can we watch Law and Order? We pull out a list of questions. Some of them are angled towards dating couples, but the ones that I were finding were actually for marriages. And some of the questions were hilarious to hear your spouse's answers.
Yeah, I think we've done this a handful of times. And I would say one of the things is, depending on how brain dead you are that day, sometimes we just asked one or two, and other times we ran out of questions. So I jumped on ChatGPT and put a prompt in and was like, we're a married couple. This is our situation. Like, give us some interesting conversation. And you can also make the questions more spicy or like all these kind of things. So I'm not going to share all of those questions on this particular podcast, but like I give you one that was funny to me. If you could reteach me one basic life skill that I apparently missed, what would it be? I also like this one. If we switch roles for a week, what would be the hardest part of being me?
I think for that one, I was like, being married to me. Yeah. So this kind of thing also allows you to decide. These questions could be angled a lot of different ways. So there's been nights where we just wanted and needed to laugh. And so we kept them very lighthearted, and they were silly and they were funny. There were some that were actually pretty
heavy,
heavy. But I would say, like, it's one of those things you're just chilling, hanging out at home, that can decide which direction. The spicy ones were funny to me because when we're like, make it spicy, some of them were like, oh, and then others were like, that's just dumb. But so they're not all going to be winners. But for us anyways, recently, this is a fun random way to connect at the end of the day. Or I don't even know how many times we've pulled these questions out and just, again,
I like it. It's a fun one.
Yeah, they're really good.
There's Gemini, Grok, ChatGPT, whatever.
Yeah. And I don't know off the top of my head, there's actually a few on Instagram that they're just people that do them it's like marriage Instagram accounts, and they've been really funny. And like anything on Instagram, once you look up a few, hits your algorithm and there you go. So I have marriage questions and doodles for adoption is my entire algorithm right now.
Lord help me.
Oh, I want to throw a couple just like quick ones here. So I mentioned the idea of chatting when we're drinking coffee in the morning, dinner prep. There's also really anything daily things that you have to do. Like you said, the slowing down and paying attention and being intentional, like folding laundry or things like that. These are things that when you take the time, do them together, have conversation, it's an opportunity to connect throughout the day. Like, it's just as easy for me to go fold the laundry in another room while I watch TV. But there are times when sitting and folding laundry and us catching up on the day has been just a really nice space. And it's something I already have to do. It's a good point to connect. Doing errands together, that's something that we've enjoyed. At some point, you got to run errands, go do it together. We were talking about how did we do this in different seasons of life? Meaning we're obviously empty nesters right now, but what did this look like in the mundane of having small children? Very different season.
Yeah, I think the Errands one is a good example. Like, sometimes it's as simple as like, all right, we got to go to Walmart to get household stuff. Like where we live, there happens to be a Bass Pro shop next to it. Let's take the kids over to Bass Pro and go check out the big fish tank and walk around and see and I think our son took to that pretty well now. He's basically like keeping Bass Pro in business with how many fishing poles he's bought over his lifetime. But yeah, it can be things like that. Like we talked about, IKEA was another one. They actually have the kids zone type of thing, or at least they did. I don't know. Again, who knows? But it's been so long. But
I don't know if we ever shared it.
The Code Brown
story. I don't remember. If we haven't, maybe we'll share it another time. But I'm going to make this long. Sorry, there's no more ball pit is what I'm going to say, because our kid definitely crapped in the ball pit and shut it down for everyone. But that used to be like dropping off your kids and then you and I would wander around IKEA. We would do it at McDonald's Play Place or something.
We would drop them off at McDonald's.
Yeah, I'd leave them at McDonald's. Just sit at the table and chat while the kids were playing.
Chick-fil-A has one too.
Yes, Chick-fil-A. Nowadays, I guess you're probably coming home with the flu, so you should be ready for that.
You'll be home for a while.
Yeah, you'll have all new opportunity to connect. Any other ones that for you stand out?
There's some spaces like for me, and anybody who follows me on social media during warmer weather will know that I basically live at our fire pit. That's my living room from like late April to late October.
Yeah.
And there's something for me about sitting around a fire that helps me center and focus. And I love having conversations around a fire. That's an amazing space there. You and I both enjoy occasionally having a cigar. That's not everybody's jam, but for us, that's something that we enjoy.
Yeah.
And that's, again, it's that habitual slowing type of thing that is, that's really a good thing to enjoy. So yeah, those are some of the things that come to the forefront of my mind. I would say one thing to pay attention to in this overall theme of the mundane is this is something that you do have to have a measure of intentionality about. And it's easy to go through 3 or 4 weeks and just run the house, make sure the kids are fed and showered and all the things that the bills are paid. There's so much that is involved in running a home. I sometimes call us like Needham Inc. We have this enterprise to run, and as life gets more complex, it's there. But there are so many opportunities, and it's important to have those moments to connect and to have that space.
I do. For me, I think the challenge that I need to remember and work on is that slowing down and paying attention, because I will get into rhythms of whether it's TV watching or my workout rhythm, and I'll get so ingrained in it that I'm just almost like robotic with the things that I do. And I can miss those really simple moments of just talking to you, connecting with you. We mentioned it the other day, like even just stopping to give each other a hug and like physical contact that isn't always like physical contact that's leading to intimacy, like a different kind of intimacy, just that touch, holding each other's hand, like things like that are also big connection points that the longer you get married, the busier you are, it can be easy for those things to you just forget. You don't intentionally separate yourself from one another, but you just are not intentional to press in on those things. And they're important.
Yeah.
Like,
I think also like similarly, like sending a text message and just being like, I can't wait for you to get home. You know, it doesn't have to be a racy text, but a text that's, I'm really excited for tonight. Like that kind of stuff that does build anticipation and expectation towards.
You keep sending me like vegetable emojis.
Really like vegetables.
What does this mean? Are we having salad for dinner? Yeah, no, I think that, and there is the side of intimacy, like
you gotta flirt. You need to flirt with your wife.
Flirting with one another, but also there's like mundane connections of, I say, if you know, you have to fold laundry anyways, do it together and connect. You got to take showers. You don't have to take them separately. There's other everyday things that are good connection points, I will just say. So
Very concerned with water preservation, aren't you?
Yes. It's important. Reduce, reuse, reconnect. This is the slogan. Part of why I wanted to talk about this today is because one of the things I recognize in marriage, but it can be in any relationship, is how natural it can be for us to drift apart, not intentionally walk away from each other, but just drift. And I feel like these connection points are how you just intentionally come back together. And doesn't mean there's not this high waves or crazy storms. Like drift can happen when the water's pretty calm. And
drift happens.
Yes.
I think that a principle that we have leaned on in a lot of areas, and this is part of my encouragement to the listener today, is that one of the most powerful tools in your tool belt for your marriage is what I call the reset button. And this opportunity that you have to start over. Now, that could be reconciliation and forgiveness and repentance. Sometimes it is like we have actual conflict. But then there's also that drift element that you described. Or it could be a drift downward, or even, and we talk in intimacy about this too, is like everything can't be always more intense. I don't know. It's not always up and to the right. And you have to have these times where you're like, we're going to simplify and reset. I think that in terms of your connection and your communication, there's an opportunity before you to reset. I think that's actually a rhythm that you and I practice a lot. And it could be that like, hey, we've been eating out a ton and our budget's getting out of whack. Let's reset. What are the things? And I would ask the question, what do you want to reset right now in your marriage? That could be, again, mundane and small. Like one thing I talked to you about Saturday morning when we were connecting, I was like, we have not been as consistently praying together. And I even brought it to you this way. I was like, I'm not sure what the answer is. I don't know that we know what it is yet, but that's one of the things that I'd like to reset in our marriage. And so I think that is one of my main encouragements. And that's the opportunity, the privilege of marriage and the covenant. And you get to play the long game, but you need to be willing to say, what are the things that we need to reset right now so that we can enhance our connection?
Yeah. I love it. I think it's some good stuff. So any other advice you give to our listeners in their living out their mundane, or maybe if they're just feeling disconnected, something they could do right now that you can say on a podcast that your children might listen to? Which awkward if our kids are listening.
Yeah. I don't know. Make the things that matter easier to do. And so again, some of these things take time to do, but like for us, like if the marriage bed matters, then you work towards, like last Christmas, we put a fireplace in our bedroom, and that's obviously not a mundane thing. That's a more extravagant thing. But part of the investment of that was that it's simple now. You literally can hit a remote and there's...
And the mood is set.
Yeah. But make things that matter to you as accessible and as easy as they can be to achieve. So yeah, find little things that you can do to make those things more accessible and more easy to do. And maybe it's, okay, we are going to order pizza one night a week because that will be the time that we'll have that extra time that we weren't prepping a meal. We'll be able to connect. So yeah, I would say reset and make things accessible. That would be two of the things that I would just stress. But yeah, what do you got? Any other suggestions or thoughts?
I think I would just tag on to that investing in the things that matter. And that investment doesn't have to be monetary investment, like being willing to invest your time and your energy back into your marriage. And maybe that's part of the reset. Isn't necessarily something that's going to cost you financially, but it might cost you like time-wise, like giving up. Maybe there's something that you need to cut back on in order to put more time and energy into your marriage and time with your spouse. And so, yeah,
that's great.
Being willing to make those investments and sacrifices, because over the long haul, that's where you want to invest. Like, we want to be in this for the long haul. We say this all the time. We're like, this is life. Ride or die. You and me, kid.
And if you'd like to go to Sandals Resort in St. Lucia, give me a call.
And if you'd like me to go with you, give me a call. All right, listeners, thanks for tuning in this week. Thanks for hanging with us. We appreciate those who spend time. We know there's a lot of things that you can listen to and do for your marriage, and we appreciate those of you who listen.
We've had some people send some notes to us recently, and it just encouraged. We love doing this. This is why we do it. Like, we would do this if nobody listened. Yeah. But it's nice to know that some people do. So thanks for sharing this and engaging in it and investing in your marriage.
Yeah. And right now, something that you can do for your marriage is go take a shower. Bye.
Bye.